I decided to wait until the next day to record this review in the hopes that Lopetegui would have been sacked by now. That I'd wake up, go on Twitter and see the picture of the corner flag and see that it's been announced that West Ham have parted ways with Julen Lopetegui. Come to find out that a lot of sources are reporting that West Ham are going to meet, the board are set to meet and decide over the next 72 hours what their decision will be. That is 3 days. 3 days before they can decide whether to sack Lopetegui or not. Sack him now. Why are we waiting? I despair with this club. For years, David Moyes was called Dithering Dave by this club, by his previous clubs. The real Dithering Dave is Dave Sullivan. I've never known or heard of a businessman being so indecisive like that. Just the lack of quality leadership at this club at all levels is astounding. Absolutely astounding. To lose 5-2 to Arsenal at home and then lose 3-1 to Leicester away. This Leicester team that struggled to score goals. We've let them put three past us. A lot of people are looking at positives of the performance and, but we created chances. See, that works both ways, doesn't it? Because if we're going to say, we performed well, we had chances, but we lost, then we can also say that about the Man United game where we conceded a ton of chances. They hit the bar and all of that, but we won. So if you're going to credit us for how we performed in losing, then discredit us for how we performed in winning. It works both ways. It's no excuse. I wanted a response to that Arsenal game. And that's how they responded. Sullivan wants to give him the Wolves game. What are we going to learn from giving him the Wolves game? If we beat Wolves, what would that tell us? That's it. Oh, right, he's beaten Wolves, so I guess he is the man for the job because we beat Wolves at home. Wow. Who hasn't beat Wolves at home this season? We beat Ipswich at home 4-1. Great win. I was happy with it. But what did it teach us? Where did we go from there? We didn't kick on. So we beat Wolves. And we lose to Brighton. And we beat Southampton away. And then we roll over for Liverpool, like this manager does for every top side. We have conceded a ridiculous amount of goals this season. I think we're like the third most goals conceded in the league. That's not sustainable. And it's not from playing swashbuckling, ultra exciting attacking football, by the way. It's by playing this slow and controlled possession football that we're conceding these goals. Because whilst passing it around lackadaisically, with no real intent or intention, we just give up. We give the ball up. We lose concentration and we make stupid passes, or we get caught in possession and we lose the ball and we go and concede goals like we did against Leicester. And he doesn't learn his lesson. He doesn't fix it. Lopetegui's only solution seems to be just change personnel. No real change in tactics or approach. Just you three off, you three on. He still doesn't seem to know what his best team is. How? We are, 14 games into the season? 14, 13 games? He's just so uninspiring, this guy. I'm all for giving managers time. And yeah, you would hope that, they go through this tough period and then it eventually clicks. I can't see it clicking. What does it look like if this manager clicks? It's just steady mid-table. I feel like that's his ceiling. I feel like this is as good as it gets. Really and truly. Yeah, Fulkrug scored from a set piece. Maybe we might get better at set pieces with Fulkrug in. But what about the rest of the general play? The players obviously have to take a big look at themselves. Bowen, the captain, as it's been pointed out, many people, selfish. Time and time again, there were players in better positions and he chose to shoot from a worse position. This really is Paqueta not being himself. This is what I'm saying. I don't know if it is a dressing room issue. I see ex-employee report that there seemed to have been a little bit of a falling out after the Arsenal game with some of the players and the manager. His position is untenable at this stage. That Newcastle game really papered over the cracks. And again, we want to talk about, we had so many chances. Look at the Newcastle game. They could have been 3-0 up in the first 20 minutes or so. We gave up a load of chances. They could have had a penalty. Maybe our goal should have stood yesterday. But it swings and roundabouts. That's how it goes. I just don't see any general improvement. I'm not excited by us at all. Just admit you've made a mistake. It's going to cost you, but guess what? This is what you get. When you go for the cheap option, David, this is what you get. You try and save money in the short term and it costs you in the long term. Yeah, false economy. That's what he did. He went for a cheap option in Lopetegui, thinking we could just coast by with that and just chuck a load of money at him in the transfer window. But now, it's costing us big time because you're going to have to pay out his contract and then sign a new manager. And I would hope you've learnt your lesson, because you go the cheap option again, we're just going to be back at square one. So stick your hand in your pocket and get the best possible manager, employed or otherwise. And yeah, people would like to bring up the fact that I backed the manager and I gave him a chance. I'm not going to feel any type of way for giving this manager a chance, for getting behind him. I was vocal that I didn't want him in the first place, but once he's here, and I will do the same for the next manager, even if I don't want us to sign him. Even if I don't want the new manager, once he's signed, I'll give him a chance. I'll get behind him, whoever it is. Same with players. I will voice my displeasure once they're here. Okay, I'm giving you a chance. I gave Lopetegui a chance. I've defended him and he's let me down. And he's let the fans down. I truly believe in the quality of a lot of these players. I really do. The new signings and the current squad. The existing players, some of our best players, have gone backwards under Lopetegui. Bowen has looked worse than he's ever looked. Some of that he's probably got to take on himself. Sure, absolutely. But as a coach, how are you coaching these players and they're looking worse? Kudus doesn't look up to his standards. But guess what? He keeps playing him on the left wing. I knew it. As soon as Kudus was back, drop Somerville, Kudus on the left. He should be sacked for that low. Somerville has been one of our best players this season when he's been given a chance. Soon as Kudus is back, he's dropped. It was so predictable that he would do that. And just for that alone, I was done with him. For some reason, don't like Somerville. Kudus, for some reason, you want to shoehorn him out on the left and play Soler in the 10. Soler's played well in centre midfield. Why are you playing him in attacking midfield? Why not play Kudus there, where he has vocally come out and said, that's my best position? And you're playing Souček and Alvarez. Where's the balance? We saw Soler and Souček at the Newcastle game provide a decent balanced midfield. So stick Kudus in front of them and let's see what can happen. And we see Leicester, how good they look on the counter. How they play off the shoulder of the last man and they're waiting for them through balls to be threaded through. Why don't we ever do that? Antonio, when he plays, that's what he should be doing. Running off players and looking for those through balls. But he doesn't. He's always so deep or so wide. He's nowhere to be seen. Danny Ings should have done better to take his chance when he was given a chance to start. You'd have thought he was chomping at the bit to start. Especially with Fulkrug got back. That was his time to shine. And he didn't exactly shine. So frustrating. And this January transfer window is coming up now. And we are dilly-dallying over whether we should sack the manager. And we are drawing up a list of alternatives. That list should have been drawn up weeks ago. Weeks ago, ready. 3 days. So we give him 3 days. So you decide to sack him in 3 days. Which is, what's that? Saturday. 2 days before the Wolves game. Why are we deciding 2 days before we have our next match whether we should sack him or not? Why does it take 72 hours to make a decision? Get in that meeting, have everyone put their points across, and have someone make a decision. If you're going to stick with him, as much as I don't agree with it, then just decide today. We are never going to get anywhere under this ownership. No one can convince me otherwise. It's one step forward, two steps back every single time, because Sullivan can never do what it takes. He can never make the best possible decision for this club. He really is just a weak leader. And like I said, we lack leadership at so many levels, and it's just abundantly clear. We lose games, and it's the next game. I'll give him the next game. And that next game is against one of the teams that's struggling. So you give him a win against a team that's struggling, and we win it. And you go, okay, reset. Then we lose another couple games. He's got the next game. Team that's struggling, win it, reset. Why, if we're already thinking about sacking him, why give him the next game, a winnable game? Look at Leicester. Leicester was decisive. Leicester just said, no, they lost to Chelsea. That's a game they're expected to lose, surely. They were out of the relegation zone. This is their first season in the Premier League. It's all about stability. But they saw an exciting young manager available who seemed to, be doing a decent job taking over at Man United as an interim. Seemed to have done good things in Holland. And they took a chance on him. They said, yes, we're going to take a chance on an exciting prospect of a manager. While he's available, let's get him. Not us. No. We've got to be justified. We're worried about what the media will say. We're worried about perception. We're worried about having to pay out managers' contracts. We weren't worried about paying for 20 odd million for Fulkrug. We weren't worried about paying 20 million for Guilherme, who's not playing at all, can't get anywhere near the side. I really think we need to start protesting the board again. I really do. I know it sounds crazy and I don't know if I've really got the energy, but I am fed up. I just want Sullivan gone. I just want him out of this club. It's taken way too long. I'd really hoped he'd been gone by now, but I'm just tired of his shit. It's the same old with this man. And like I said, we are never going to progress while he runs this club. If he really was a West Ham fan, he'd recognise his own inadequacies and he would go and find us a serious owner with serious money to take this club forward. So my stance is clear. Sullivan out, Lopetegui out. 72 hours to make the right decision. Don't piss about.